in my last message, I shared a reframe about the scenic route and having more appreciation for things taking however long they need to take. So instead of comparing our past selves to our current selves and whatever we have on our plate now, it's like, okay, look, even if things feel like they're moving more slowly, how can I see that as a perk and a bonus and a benefit, and appreciate and savor it for what it is, and allow myself to actually appreciate that I can have more presence because I'm not sprinting at the speed of light. That's a more meta reframe for our relationship with time. But in this message, I want to share a micro reframe that's been really helpful to me in actual specific moments where I have felt like I absolutely don't have enough time to do XYZ, or I feel like I'm rushing around, which, you know, it happens. It happens. It's going to happen. It will continue to happen. But I want to offer this as a thought that you can try on to help take the sting out of those moments. And it's inspired by once upon a time earlier this year on a day. I don't normally schedule more than 2 calls in a day just because I don't want to usually. But I had multiple calls. I think it was when I was doing my 40th birthday calls. I have a whole podcast on that too. But I was booking 40 calls with family and friends and clients and colleagues as a way to celebrate my 40th birthday this year. And I booked too many with too little buffer, which I made a note to self and didn't repeat that again because I just don't like feeling rushed. I want to be able to be present, not just for my own self, not feeling rushed and frantic or out of breath or something, or like I need to get water or go to the bathroom and I didn't have time and space for it. But I want to be present with the person that I'm on the call with. And in order to do that, I need a bit of a buffer. We talked about that in another episode around creating the margin for ourselves. That's the half tank baseline episode. So this one specifically came to me when I was rushing around between calls and I'm like, I don't have enough time. And then my mind served up the way more useful thought, I have all the time that I need. Is it true? Maybe, maybe not, but it absolutely feels better. So I wanted to offer that to you to just try it on, Spanglish style, just try it on. It's like a regulating phrase. We're not trying to bypass, we're not trying to hack time or anything like that, but it really is. Think about it with me logically. The next time that you're feeling rushed and you're thinking, I don't have enough time, try to let this be a pattern interrupt and remember this episode that you happened to tap on in whatever year, time, and space and moment that you did, the miracle that you found this message, and think, just try this on. Again, you don't even have to believe it, but just let your brain think, I have all of the time that I need. Because best case, number 1, it's true. It might be true. And 2, I repeat, it will absolutely feel better. It will help you just, because what really is true is that we have all the time that we have, right? It's like just a dressed up, fancier version of saying it is what it is, but it's true. We have all the time that we have. And that's a neutral thought, right? But I think it just feels a little bit better to at least pretend and posit I have all the time that I need. Because otherwise, well, it could even like, I'm trying to highlight that this isn't like magical thinking, although I love magic and magical thinking too, right? But I'm also very, very practical and grounded, and I have 3 kids, 3 different life stages, 3 different schools. Like there's lots of logistics and shuffling and things that we need to manage around here in this season of life. But it's like, why not help take the edge off of an otherwise stressful moment, say it, and perhaps it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy to where you start making different design choices in how you are spending your time and calendar and putting things on the calendar, which we'll talk about that in another message because that was another huge lesson for me this year. But the thought, I have all the time that I need, just playing with it. Again, if it's too much to go there, then just go with I have all the time that I have and start there. Because it's just a reality check. It's like a cold splash of water, a pull yourself together man moment where it's like, it doesn't help to say, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. It's like, what do I have? This is the time that I have. So what am I going to do with it? And then also, bonus, once I've gotten to that level, it's like a monkey bar and you just swing to the next most useful, most powerful thought. So once you're at that point of like, okay, this is all the time that I have, what can I do with it? That's when you start asking better questions of like, okay, how can I make sure I have all the time that I need? I shared in another one of these episodes around the example of the energetic baseline and how I've been filling the gas at the half tank mark instead of waiting till I'm running on empty. And I did kind of preview into this thought around time. And if you find yourself running behind to stuff, la-di-da, then you can just experiment with different things that help you actually leave 5 minutes earlier than you normally do. For example, for carpool, we run a finely tuned carpool in the morning because, like I said, we have 3 kids, 3 different schools, different start times. There's one that's usually late, the other 2 are always early. We want to make sure we get there just at the right moment for our first one so that the next one's not waiting with, I don't want to go to school anxiety in the carport or in the parking lot an unnecessary amount of time. So, but it's like, I never want to feel like I'm running behind, and I'm the grown-up here. There are things that I can do differently, that I can try differently, to where this doesn't have to be a surprise. It doesn't have to feel like, ooh, that's a bit of a pickle, and it's just adding unnecessary stress, not just to me, but to my kids, bless them. So we troubleshoot and think, okay, what could we try differently? And that's really the point. The point of this is just to say, if we're noticing a pinch and we're finding that there's some friction in this particular area of how we're relating to time in the micro moments and how we're planning things, it doesn't help to say, I don't have enough time and leave it at that. Like, that's a fact. It's a thought, but it's not a fact. The urgency is something that we're feeling, but it's also a math problem. I know I keep saying this, but that's why I'm like processing all of these lessons of the year, and it's just very clear the themes that are running through each of them. So I'm hoping that this is resonating and useful to you too. But that's all I wanted to offer in this one, is just the thought. When you are finding yourself stressed, frantic, panicked, feeling anxious, feeling like, I mean, you can even just take a deep breath, tap, 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 take a deep breath with me and just think about it. In those moments, we all have them, and we will have them again. But it's just going back to that idea of creating margin as a form of self-support and self-care. And this is like a mental margin. This thought just takes the edge off, and it's just a little bit of love and kindness that you can give to yourself to think, instead of, I don't have enough time, because that doesn't change anything. Just thinking, I have the time that I have, or even I have all the time that I need, and just practice that thought as often as you can as a pattern interrupt. And eventually you're going to get back up to a baseline, back up to sea level, so you're not like snorkeling underwater, which I know what that feels like. But when you get back to a baseline where you have enough capacity to actually tap into that executive center and to your mom brain to think, okay, but really, what can I do to actually make sure that that is true? And the more that we repeat that thought, it's like we're giving our brain a problem to solve, the old reticular activating system, right? Where it's like, I'm looking for a red car and now I see red cars everywhere, whatever. It's that kind of thing. If I'm telling myself and telling my mind, I have all the time that I need, it's going to start looking for evidence that that's true. And it's going to inspire me to start taking different motor actions in my physical life, in time and space, that are going to make that more likely to be the case. So put that in your thought wardrobe. In a course about copy back in the day, I had lesson 1 was writing for dream clients, and lesson 2 was wardrobe essentials, like wardrobe, but with an O, W-O-R-D, wardrobe. And so that's the visual that I'm getting when I'm offering these ideas. It's like, hang that up in your thought closet. It's like this little phrase goes on a tiny little hanger, like the image I had on my homepage with the punctuation marks on the hangers. But it's like, just hang this little thought in your thought closet, put it in your wardrobe, try it on, see how it fits, and how you can make it yours. And that's the aim. Okay, good luck out there. Keep me posted.